This final episode of the year of a great 2024 year is brought to you by our lovely friends, our presenting sponsors at Chevrolet. Chevrolet together, let's drive. Head on over to Chevy.com/Equinox EV because we're going to talk about this thing. It accommodates with comfortable seating for up to 5 people. The Equinox EV offers roomy, no compromises. We're not into compromising when it comes to the roominess of our Chevy Equinox EV. No compromises interior, ample cargo room, convenient storage solutions, golf clubs, drums, musical equipment, children, people, whatever you need in there. The Chevy Equinox EV's got room for all of it, folks.
We are driving into 2025 with our Chevys, all thanks to Chevy. And we've got in our car today, in our Chevy Equinox EV, we've got Cody Beef Frankie on the show and Alistair Docherty, our own, very own Barstool Golf professional golfer. He's on the Corn Ferry Tour. We've talked very much about him and his journey, knocking on the door of the PGA Tour. And of course, like I just said, Beef is on the show. This is a great way to end the year and drive into 2025, all thanks to Chevy and the Chevy Equinox EV. I can't wait to get into this episode. Amazing stuff from amazing people.
It really is. It really, really is. Also, the 2025 Equinox EV LT, it's got a starting price around $34,995. Your pricing may vary. Dealer set the final price. 319 miles of range on a full charge, 17.7-inch diagonal standard touchscreen display. Head on over once again to Chevy.com/Equinox EV. Check out product info, lease offers, and amazing deals. Chevrolet together, let's drive.
Everyone has a story. Mine's just getting started.
There we go.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Go!
Fore-play, presented by Barstool Sports. This is the final Fore-play podcast episode of the year of our Lord 2024. We got 2 special guests on this show. Our brand new hire out of Thornberry Creek in the Green Bay, Wisconsin area. Head golf professional, Cody Frankie. I believe we pronounced the E is kind of what I'm understanding. I think we pronounced the E. So we've got a couple Frankies going on now, which is just perfect. And then we're going to have our very own Mr. Alistair Docherty is going to be on as well. We're going to talk about 2024, what's coming up for 2025. Hope everyone has had a lovely holiday season, had a lovely Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. I know that I did. I was home in St. Louis. It was delightful. And Frankie's got it on the top of his head, of his beautiful masculine head. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody out there.
Feminine.
Happy New Year, everybody. I feel like a bag of shit.
Ew.
No, well, just,
Oh, no.
it's what, I've been really embracing the holiday break. You get to Christmas, and then you're just, the Christmas to New Year's break is just a lot of eating and a lot of drinking and not a lot of moving. And I'm just really in the midst of that. So, I feel like a bag of shit, but I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's been a long week. It's still going. Now it's Monday, but it's still like in between the holidays. You've got New Year's Eve tomorrow night for when
Wednesday's
we're recording
a weird
this.
day. Wednesday's a weird day for these holidays to be on back to back, the
Yeah, I like
Christmas
it.
and the New Year's.
I like it. I mean, we had a lot of family ins, and I talked about this a bunch. I hosted a bunch, and we still have a couple more to come up. But like, it was nice to just it was a week's worth of celebrating, and it wasn't a lot of traveling on my end. So it was nice to just kind of, there was a lot of feeling like pieces of shit, like eating and drinking, but we were running around hosting and stuff. So I feel pretty spry. I feel like rejuvenated. I'm ready to rock. I want to keep going. I want to keep this thing going. I'm feeling on my toes. It's been good. It's just been nice to be home. We posted the video of, Rob White posted that video of my travel schedule, which I'm sure you guys were like just as much or more. It's like 63,000 miles, 2.5 times around the world. That's insanity. 116 flights minimum. Not including like a couple of personal ones that you probably forgot.
Dude, it's so funny. I was thinking about that this week, about how much we've traveled, and it's no secret that we're mostly Delta guys. And I wish Delta would do a Wrapped. Spotify does a Wrapped, and it's like, I want to see all this. It actually caused me to download a third-party app where I then put in all my miles and stuff and all my flights, and it shows you. And it was just funny that then our social guy Rob White sent me mine as well, and it's like, yeah, the travel for the year has been insane, and it's been insane for the last couple of years. And it really is sobering when you see it so plainly, where, it's 70,000 miles, it's 80 flights. It's the app that I downloaded also shows how long you were delayed. And I was delayed like 36 hours over it's like, it's just all that time compounds. And we have we've traveled a lot this year, but during this break, we've done less travel, and it's been nice.
It's nice to be in one place. It's really just
It is.
amazing to have some semblance of a routine, even to not have the minute by minute anxiety of an upcoming trip. Like that just makes, even if you're leaving Tuesday, it makes your Sunday a little less comfortable. You're just thinking about it. Like, I got to get this done, that done. I got to pack. I got to make sure I'm ready to go. What time do I need to get up Tuesday? I need to be in decent shape. I need to make sure I know what we got to film, whatever. It's just like not having any of that for a couple of weeks really is just delightful. I think it's good for the mind. I think it's good for the body. It's been great to be around. I was home in St. Louis for just 2 quick days. It was like the middle of the week, so that part of it was a little tricky for kind of flying in, flying out. People are working on Christmas Eve, and then they're working the day after Christmas for the most part. So there wasn't a ton of action outside of the Christmas scene, but being home was absolutely lovely. Seeing my family, my parents were there, obviously my nephew and niece, all my family, as people probably know, but if they don't, my mom's one of 12 kids. My dad's one of 6 kids. So we have a massive Midwestern family. I think on Thanksgiving and on Christmas Eve with my mom's side, we have upwards of 70 or 80 people at those, holiday gatherings. So it's quite the scene, but it is really nice to get to see people. And then on Christmas afternoon, because we do the extended family on Christmas Eve. We've always done it that way, and it's a great time. The next day is obviously the holiday of Christmas, so usually people are in a pretty good mood. They're kind of chilling. There's not a ton to do the next day other than, family stress stuff. People aren't really working, so we're hanging. And then Christmas morning, we do with my brother's family, and my parents come over. I think I got about 7:30 a.m. There was a moment where I had Robbie was actually flickering the main light in my bedroom like it was a strobe light. And then Mary Kate was physically holding my eyelids open. And they were going, "It's time to get up. It's Christmas morning." Ooh. Went down, did Christmas morning. My brother was a little bit sick. So sister-in-law cooked and everything. We had a great Christmas morning. And then the whole point I was trying to get to, then my mom and dad and I, in the afternoon, we didn't have a ton to do. We went up to the old casino in St. Charles, Missouri. It's like the only thing open. So we went up to the casino, went to the sports bar, watched a little football, had a couple beers. My buddy Jeremy came up and joined us. Kept it real chill, and then around 7 or 8 p.m. went home, went to sleep, got up the next morning, flew right back to Arizona. I've been here ever since. So it's been very chill, been very relaxing. It's been nice, like Frankie said, to kind of recharge for these couple weeks.
Yeah, I was back in Iowa for the holidays, and my Christmas has changed a little bit in that, so my parents do half the year in Arizona, and they do half the year in Iowa. And it used to be they would leave the first of the year after all the holidays. They'd be there for Thanksgiving, and we do Christmas Day at their place every year. And then within the last couple of years, they were just like, we're going to do whatever we want, and we're going to leave October 1st instead of January 1st. So now when I go back to Iowa for the holidays, my parents aren't there, which is very strange, which then forces, I have a brother and 2 sisters. We are now in charge of running our own Christmas, which is like the passing of the baton, which is so strange. And this year was the first year where we did it. And you kind of forget, and we talked about it in the last show, there's so many traditions, and make sure you see everybody, spend as much time as you can, really enjoy it. And we are now tasked, although we're enjoying it, with sort of making our own traditions. You can do whatever you want with it. Once, luckily my parents are still alive. It's not like they're gone, and we call them on Christmas and we talk to them, but it's up to us. So it was different. We went to my brother's place. There's more gambling on the DraftKings Sportsbook. We're talking about gambling a lot more, just like it's an adult Christmas now. It just feels like we're not the kids anymore. So that has been an interesting tradition for the Ryan kids, but we made the most of it. We ate a shit ton of food, and we drank a lot, and we gambled a bunch on the DraftKings Sportsbook, and it was
speaking of
actually nice.
DraftKings Sportsbook, that does sound delightful. That's just what the holidays are for. Shout out to Missouri. Sports betting passed in Missouri during this past election cycle last month. Passed barely. I mean, out of millions of people in Missouri, there's Kansas City and St. Louis, so decent population. It passed by like single-digit thousands of votes or something. I don't know I think it was like 7,000 or 8,000 votes or something crazy like that. It passed. They got to do paperwork. They got to go through the hoopla. I think they're aiming for like next summer, at least by next football season. But sports betting will be legalized in the state of Missouri, which is nice to see. So,
the result will already be decided by this time this podcast comes out, but Iowa is playing Missouri today in football.
I know. I did see that. I don't know all this. I'm not the biggest. I don't follow as closely as I should. I know, obviously, with the playoff system now, they're avoiding a lot of the players not playing in a like more of a bowl game traditional like we have. Are players not playing, or is everybody kind of playing?
No, so our guy Caleb Johnson, who's by far our best player, running back, he declared for the NFL draft, so he is not playing. So it still happens. I mean, he just doesn't want to risk it, doesn't want to get hurt. I get it. It's like
Don't
if he
blame him.
tears an ACL in the last game of the season, it's like that's a bummer for him. Now there's a big discussion online about, I don't know if you saw what Cam Ward did. He sat out the last couple of plays. Like it's
Saw
happening a lot, but it's like, you know, they don't want to get hurt. Football is an incredibly violent sport. And it's like they're going to go make millions of dollars changing generational wealth. So it's like they're just going to sit it out. So that is happening even in the, you know, the Music City Bowl game that Iowa and Missouri are playing in.
Got that in the NFL too with Saquon next week, where he's like, they've
Saw
locked
that.
up their spot, and he has 120 yards to go to break the all-time record.
Yeah.
Playing the Giants. Like, do you play this guy? It's not like it's only 20 yards where he can only run a couple plays. He's got to really go after
Gotta have
it.
a game.
That's a full game.
Got to have a game. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Like, do you really go after like personal achievements, especially when it's like an extra game in the season? It's not even comparable,
Right.
really, because then you can always have that.
That's
like,
what I was going to
asterisk.
say.
But
I think that one you almost like sit it out just because people are going to bitch about it anyways. So
I do think I was reading, though, and I could have this wrong. It was on Twitter, where the rush attempts for Saquon are way lower than they are for
Oh, wow.
all right.
You know what I mean? So I understand the game part of it, but if the number of rushing attempts is lower, I think there's still an argument to be made that like he just had more
like
yards per
that.
carry.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. And then, like, you know, the Giants want to lose that game for draft picks, so it's a lot going on, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's
New York Giants, best football team in the world when they're losing the number one pick.
Oh my God, that was insane. Like truly, truly insane yesterday watching them. I was with a bunch of Giants fans as they were watching it. Just they couldn't believe that they kept responding. You know, Drew Lock just like marching down the field for touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, and the Jets were so bad yesterday. Just
Really bad.
unwatchably bad. Unwatchably
Shocking,
bad.
really.
Just Aaron Rodgers, I think it's just over and just really bad. New York sports in general, the Rangers are the worst team in the Metro right now. They're the worst team in the division. They started the
Saw
season
that,
12-4. They're now the worst team in the division. The Islanders are the second worst team in the division. The Jets are the worst team in their division, and the
Saw
Giants are the
Patrick
worst team in
Waugh
their
was like
division.
apologizing to the fans during what looked like an open
Like, we
mic
have to be
practice
better.
that they had.
Yeah, he's like, we
Mhm.
just have to be better. It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all not great, but it is what it is. New York sports is I mean, the Knicks are rolling. You got Jalen Brunson dropping 50 pieces on people.
Yeah.
The Knicks are kind of rolling. They look like they're poised for a nice playoff run here. And yeah, it's been tough sports watching, that's for sure. But great holidays, great to just be home. Like I feel like I like learn more things about my home now, that it's like being home is almost like being on vacation. Like I actually get to experience the things that like we built in like my basement. I get to like watch movies down there. It's like, this is so nice. And I think about other people that just like are home all the time. Like all the time. And I'm like, wow, it's maybe I get to enjoy it more because I'm not home as much. But yeah, we're getting ready
I'm always
for this
amazed.
baby. I mean, it is what it is.
Dude, when I'm home, people make like weekly plans. They're like, we should do this like every Wednesday. Let's do this every Wednesday morning. I'm like, well, you know, I could do it for 2 of them, and then the next 11, I could be anywhere. I just don't know. So I'm very jealous of people that can make weekly plans. I looked it up. Out of 3 million voters in Missouri, the vote came down to 2,961 vote difference.
Wow.
In favor of sports betting, which 38 other states already have it, including Washington, D.C., I think. So 38 other, you know, whatevers you want to call it. So we're getting up to the high majority. But a couple things on the news front. Scottie Scheffler, a little bit of an incident on Christmas Day. Almost being such a nice, normal guy, caught up to him a little bit. He's like cooking Christmas dinner, running the show, and broke some glass, sliced open his hand, had to withdraw from the Century, and will be out. I think it said like 3 to 4 weeks potentially that he'll be out. And then like moments later, Victor Hovland posted a MRI of his stubbed toe. He's going to miss some time as well. So we had a couple of the game's best players out of nowhere over the holidays got a little bit injured. Victor Hovland hit a bed frame, I think, which I think every time you stub your toe, you think you broke your toe in half.
Right.
To actually have done it must have been one of the worst experiences you could possibly have.
This made me think, and I actually had been thinking about it recently because I'm a huge Billy Strings fan, and I watch his hands move like a magician over that guitar. And it's similar to a guy like Scottie, where the livelihood is so connected to the shape of his hands, and in Victor Hovland's case, his foot. Like, that is how they make the money, and they make a lot of it. So you don't want to put, Scottie Scheffler in a hyperbaric chamber until every golf tournament. He wants to live his life and enjoy the holidays and all that. But it's like, I don't think I would I wouldn't let Scottie Scheffler near a knife. I wouldn't let him near glass. I don't know. It just really brought me to, like, these guys' lives are so tied to their hands and their bodies that maybe they should walk around with oven mitts on all the time. I don't know. It's scary though.
Yeah, he doesn't it is what it is. He's cooking. He's not going to stop cooking. It's like he could choke on a tuna salad sandwich. Like, life is just life. You're not going to walk around in bubble wrap. The guy made $60-something million. He doesn't give a fuck.
Because of those hands, though.
He's going to miss a couple of events, In regular sports, you get hurt, like playing the actual sport, you'd be out months, years.
That is true, but we'll see.
Yeah, but we're also just saying, like, people are actually choosing not to play that sport even in games that don't matter because they want to be so safe and protect
I get
the
the take, but it's like Scottie Scheffler's not going to stop, like, grabbing glasses of wine because he, like, is a good golfer.
That's just
an
idea.
It is an idea. It's definitely just a thought.
Maybe grab him with some oven mitts.
I don't want that to be a. I mean, we can make that a headline, but it's like Scottie Scheffler should no longer cook or drink glasses of wine because he is the greatest golfer on earth. Save this man's
put my
hands.
name on that.
Fuck.
You can put my name on that. That's I got no issue with that. I would feel that way about Mr. Woods. We've said for a little while now, like,
oh yeah,
basically, let's put him
no
on
Call of Duty.
Not let him
carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would have liked him not to run around in combat boots for a long time. That would have been nice.
True. Driving off cliffs. There's a lot of things he should have done.
Happy 49th birthday, by the way, to him.
Yeah. That got me
Happy
going.
49th birthday.
That got my group chat going, actually, about, like, the fact that LeBron and Tiger are born on the same day. It's something that we never think about. Just two absolute outrageously famous athletes born on the same.
I think about it every time ESPN runs a special when their birthdays are on the same day.
Do they do that?
Every time. That's the big, everybody's talking about it, where it's like these guys got the same birthday.
Yeah. It's
LeBron James is huge. He's huge. He's a huge person. We were just talking about this while we were at that casino watching that goddamn Christmas game, and we were just laughing with my buddy because we're not the biggest NBA fan. We're more hockey fans. You see hockey guys, we would laugh when they would come into the office. Remember when, like, Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, those guys came into the office, and, like, everyone, basically, I shouldn't say everyone, said no one even really noticed unless you kind of knew what was going on because they just don't really stick out. Hockey guys look pretty normal for the most part, except for, like, Mike Commodore, like Whitney's kind of huge. But even, like, Biz is incredible. Like, Biz beat up all those fucking gypsies or whatever they were all by himself. Like, they probably started swinging at him just because hockey guys don't look that, like, menacing, whatever. So we started just randomly looking it up. And I mean, LeBron James being 6'9", 250 pounds, and just
crazy
moving out there like a gazelle and, like, being athletic is. He could
how old is LeBron now?
He wants to.
He just turned 40 today.
Oh, guy could do anything he wants to.
Moving around like that at that size at the age of 40 is psychotic.
Oh my God.
Absolutely psychotic.
How do you stop that? You just don't. You can't. It's possible.
You don't. He's got the most points in NBA history by a lot now.
Those guys are pretty good too that are trying to stop him. They're huge.
They're the best in the world. And
Huge.
he's still at, like, I'd have to look, but he's 40. He's in, like, his 22nd year. He's averaging, like, 26 points a game. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
It's amazing. It really is amazing. Did you guys see this? Did you get a chance to watch the Scottie Scheffler 2024 documentary yet?
I did not.
No.
Dude, the PGA Tour put this out like a week or so ago, and I stumbled across it. I wasn't thinking it was going to be that good. I thought maybe I'd turn it off. What I really liked about it is it really did a pretty in-depth dive about how bad his putting was and how badly it was being perceived. Like, it was doing a lot of the media stuff, and it was really combing back through the talking heads. It was combing back through Scottie having to deal with it, question after question, press conference after press conference for, like, a while. And you kind of forget how poorly it was. And then he switched to the Spider at Bay Hill this year. And the first round with the Spider, he putted horribly. And then he stuck with it. And then the next 3 rounds, he was like leading or near leading the field in strokes gained putting. Won for the first time this year at Bay Hill. And then went on the Scottie tear the rest of the year. But you forget, all the way up until halfway through the Florida swing, he hadn't won yet this year. And his putting was still the storyline from last year and how relative to the rest of his game poor it was. And then all of a sudden you forget, like, he turned that shit around and he won 9 times from there on in, which is outrageous. It's pretty good. I think people should watch it. It was very good.
Yeah, I do. I remember the narrative being, imagine how good Scottie would be if he could putt. That was the narrative for a while. And then we got to see it, luckily. Like, it felt like he was never going to turn it around. And it was just like, man, all of his other statistics are through the roof. And he is almost lapping the field in these other categories. If he could just get the putter going, boy, wouldn't he have a special year. And it was cool to be able to watch him actually do it. And then he won 9 tournaments. So that was clearly the difference.
No, he solidified all those arguments and debates of
right.
He's clearly the best player. He's not
really
winning
did.
because of one aspect of his game. Went and fixed it, and then became the far and away clear best player.
In this doc, they interviewed, like, Tiger Woods sat down for it, Scottie sat down for it. So even during, like, the arrest thing during the PGA, they got, like, another take from Scottie on it in this, like, confessional style interview. He had some funny things to say about it. They were interviewing, like, one of his best buddies who was talking about how Scottie was stretching in jail because in case he could make his tee time, he was literally doing all these stretches, like, in jail with the cop. And yeah, it was just sneaky good. I thought too, for anyone who calls Scottie and Scottie winning week after week, boring, and he is a relatively, like, compared to Tiger fist bumping or whatever the hell you want to call it, he's not as enthusiastic out there. It added a lot of color to Scottie and who he is and him being so beloved by everybody and such a nice dude and the whole deal. So if you get a couple, I think it's 45 minutes long or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah,
it was good. It was a very cool way to relive Scottie's really, like, record-setting and pretty career-defining 2024. It was very good. Very good.
I'm gonna give that.
I saw they posted something like PGA Tour Studios or something like that, like a whole drone video. Did you guys see that? A lot of people were sharing it. I didn't really know what that announcement was. It was like just their headquarters. It's like PGA Tour Studios. It's going to be the next greatest thing in golf, and it's just like a bunch of people just kind of like in a studio, like doing like Golf Channel and PGA Tour Live. And I didn't know what was there. Was like I was waiting for like a big announcement of like this is what it is, but it was just Tiger Woods being like 3, 2, 1, and then it just ended.
I didn't see it.
It was a kind of a bizarre video. Sick though. Our guy Jay Bird, the guy who did the Barstool office,
right?
Yeah.
Yep. He's the best drone pilot ever. I mean, I'm okay saying that. I'm okay stamping him with the GOAT status of droning. He did that video. It's actually sick visually. But just weird. I didn't know. I still don't know what PGA Tour Studios is.
I don't really know what it is either.
If that documentary was something more of the lines of that.
Prestige
Maybe
Worldwide.
it is.
Yeah.
That's right.
What is it?
Rest in peace to Jimmy Carter. I believe he was the 39th president of the United States, but Jimmy Carter was 100 years old, made it to 100 years old. It was funny going back because now, a lot of my, like, curated YouTube feed is obviously I'm into politics and presidents and stuff like that. So now all of a sudden I started to get some, like, brought back up Jimmy Carter type stuff and just combing through. And there was like a 1985 interview or something that I watched a couple minutes of. And it's very funny to think, like, he looked like a kind of like, well, presidency ages everyone, as everybody knows, but he looked like kind of an older guy in 1985. And then I was thinking, I was like, dude, here we are 40 years later. And he just passed away. So making it to 100 is absolutely phenomenal. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Presidency, being a president of the United States, very small club, and putting that type. We all talk too about nobody really, like, we feel like almost nobody wants to be president these days or run for presidency. You get buried and you get you and your family and the whole deal. And so people that do that, put that effort in, it's probably the hardest job in the world. You're on 24/7, 365. There's a million things to worry about with the highest stakes, from national security to all kinds of domestic issues, whatever. And he did it. He got through that political scene. He's from basically nowhere, Georgia, which is where he loved to hang. beforehand and afterwards. He liked to teach. He wrote a bunch of books and seemed like an all-around really good dude who was president of the United States. So rest in peace to Jimmy Carter.
Rest in peace to Jimmy Carter. Motivated me to buy a biography of Jimmy Carter's off of Amazon. So we'll see. I'd like to read a little bit more in 2025. I always do a decent amount of reading, but I'd like to do a little bit more. It's one of my resolutions. So, I'm going to try to read that. It's a long one, as you would imagine. But I want to get to know Jimmy Carter a little bit more. Obviously, I know the headlines and a little bit about him, but I would like to learn more. And I've been on a presidential kick, as Riggs knows, kind of getting to know Washington and Kennedy, and Jimmy Carter, I think, is my next one, just because he's so in the news now. So that's one of my resolutions for 2025. Read the Jimmy Carter book.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Sneaky thing about Washington that you've probably learned is how people don't really talk about. You just married into a ton of money.
Tons.
Kind of a genius move. Big part
Martha?
of it is I think it was Martha.
Martha Washington, that whole family.
Really
tons of money.
Isn't that Lincoln's
elevated
wife
him.
too? No?
That's the thing. You start reading about these presidents, you get it mixed up a little bit. And it's not what I want to do, but it does happen.
I think Martha's correct.
I should know that as the guy who recently read the Washington book, but
yeah, it was probably more about George.
It was definitely more about George. He had a bunch of money
Martha
too. He's
Washington.
not as much as Martha's family or whatever her name happens to be, but back then,
Martha Washington, that's her name.
Yes.
Born in Chestnut Grove.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Learn.
They had
First lady of the
English
United States.
accents, right? They had British accents.
No, right? Because I think they were born on this side.
But there was still like all that influence over here, right? Like it was still just the way people talk.
AI says yes. The founding fathers had British accents, but they were not all the same. That doesn't really. I mean, it's just a yes. British accent.
I guess that
we know
makes sense
today
because
with
all of
the nasal
their
soft R like yod did not come into existence until after the Revolutionary period. So I think they had British accents for the time, but not the British accent that we kind of know today.
Got it.
Sort of what this is saying. Almost
Speaking of Britain,
like
I'm
they had
actually taking my parents to London in February as like a last kind of trip. We did one to Ireland last year for Christmas, and I was like, I'm going to keep this going. They really enjoyed it. So we're going to do a long weekend in London. My buddy Kyle, my best man at my wedding, he lives out there with his fiance. So we're going to stay with him, and then we're going to get my parents up in a nice hotel and just do like a Thursday to Monday quick kind of trip. Just kind of experience London, go do a bunch of fun stuff, Abbey Road and, the Tower of London, and go see a play and high tea for my mom and shit. And yeah, it'll be fun. Well, it actually came so I had this week kind of blocked off, and I was supposed to go to Daytona 500. I've talked about this a long time. I've talked about this a long time with Don, my father-in-law. I've been trying to get this guy to the Daytona 500 for 3 years now. They got rained out. We went to the hockey game. He got kicked out. He got rained out. Then we went to the Islander Ranger game. He got kicked out of a suite because he was wearing a Ranger jersey. It just it was really bad. Took this guy there. We have it all planned out. Going to play TPC Sawgrass, the whole entire deal.
Oh yeah,
have it all ready to go. Guy's getting double knee replacement, essentially emergency double knee replacement. He wants to be ready for the golf season. We got a couple golf trips coming up, so that's canceled, unfortunately. But now I pivoted and I was like, oh, I have that week, and we're gonna go to London. So it's kind of like the last week that my wife can travel, and it's kind of like, knocking a bunch of birds out with one stone. Good. Seeing our friends, bringing our parents somewhere they haven't been, and last trip before the baby. So, but yeah, I'm excited to hear all the actual British accents over there. I like that. I like London, like the whole vibe around it.
Dude, London's on my list for 2025 as well. I've never been. I want to go bad. Seems like an awesome place. I was thinking maybe later in the year, but London is top of my list for places to go because I've never been there.
I think no matter when, so like the weather never actually gets better is what like Kyle was telling me. Like it's nice, but he's like, it's going to be like rainy. And if the sun comes out, especially in February, if the sun comes out, people are going to be like, what the fuck? Like, this is weird.
I'd also
rainy
like
and cloudy.
if I'm in London, I kind of, if it's fall and it's a little chillier and I get to wear like nice coats, I think that'll feel like a little London, a London dressing.
Yeah, Marty and Leah there right now, they're wearing like mink coats and stuff.
Maybe wear a scarf. Out there. I've been to London once. It was with Gaz, sales guy. I was there for about 2.5 days. And I will say, London is my favorite city I've ever been to. It's absolutely awesome. It's got a little bit of everything. It's basically a much cleaner, more historic version of New York City, I would say. It's got hustle and bustle, but it's built. They have alleyways, so the trash isn't just out on the street. It's like tucked back behind the buildings. The red phone booths, the red double-decker buses. Plus, they've got the palaces and the London Bridge. It's very, very, very cool city, and they got little pubs everywhere, like bistro type pubs that have been there. You go in there, they have like their own shield, and they've been there for like 475 years. When you walk into one of these pubs, so it's really cool.
I'm pumped.
London
I mean,
City.
we really, really enjoyed Ireland, and I think this is a different type of trip. I actually haven't even told them yet. My parents actually got like my nephew got like
They
the
don't
flu.
know?
They know that they're going to know today. I'm going to their house today. I didn't
Okay.
get to see them on actual Christmas, only the Friday before, because everyone got sick. They all got sick. They were all in the house, and everyone was sick. My sister was sick, and like my nephew was sick. They were over there, and so no one wanted to get Hannah sick. So it was just like, you guys stay. We'll see you on Monday. So we're telling them today. They'll be super pumped. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm
Amazing.
very, very excited. But it's just it's a different type of trip. Like, I'm not doing like all the different cities within like I did in
Yeah.
Ireland. Like, I would love to go to Liverpool, but it's like, I don't know, like they're not going to want to go to a game, or like I'd love to do a Beatles tour, but it's like it's 4 hours away from like downtown London. It's like, it's just different. It's like going to New York City for a weekend. Like, you can kind of see it all. I feel like I've heard in 3 or 4 days, and I'm very pumped. I can't wait. Yeah. So if anyone has any recommendations, I know I shot that out when I went out to Ireland. That helped a lot. Send over some recs. There's this one like martini place apparently that like you get like one dirty martini at. It's impossible to get into this place, and like they wear like, it's like white glove service, and they'll make you like one dirty martini at your table, and it just knocks you on your ass. But it's supposed to be like the greatest drinking experience of all time. It's like an old school. They come to the table and make it in front of you. That's something I really want to do, because my dad's a big martini guy. Get him a martini, singing karaoke that night.
Phenomenal.
I sing so much karaoke. Someone got me, my sister-in-law got me a karaoke stand, like a mic stand for Christmas. I'm talking just like a rock star mic stand, you know, like,
because normally you're just holding it.
You're just holding it. Yep. So
Yeah.
now I've got the stand, and I can kind of swing it around. I can lean on it. It's a lot.
It's amazing
lot.
how much.
I'm,
It's amazing how much karaoke goes on in the Borelli household.
Oh my God. It would blow your mind. It would I mean, Tuesday night, like nothing going on, karaoke.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
Sure, it gets the
hosting
people
some people
going.
tomorrow night for New Year's Eve. I was thinking about getting a little karaoke game or machine or something to get everybody going.
So actually there's a game downstairs that I think my wife is hiding from me. It's like a little card game, and I saw it. She's like, "Oh, I got a fun game for New Year's Eve," because we got a bunch of people coming over. And it's a game that's like, you basically pull a card out, and it's a word. I've already read the whole rules. There's a word, and everyone has to go around and sing a song with that word. And if you can't get it within like 10 minutes, it's like let's try it. All right. I'll say the word one. Trent.
One is the loneliest number that you ever.
All right, now Riggs, go.
Oh, that was what I was gonna do.
Too bad, pal.
5.
Number one. What's that song?
Nelly.
St. Lunatics.
Okay.
I can't.
I would do it.
I'd
You're the
probably
one
gotta
that
do
I
better
want.
with the lyrics.
You are
but-
the one I want.
And then
Honey.
it keeps going.
I think you keep going. It's almost
Yeah.
like that game
Wow.
where you're thinking of like athlete
Athletes?
names.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sure
good.
there's more rules to it, but it's cool. It gets the people going. Everyone
That
starts
is
singing
good.
songs.
That is good.
And then like you kind of freeze, and you're like, "Fuck, what's that song?"
Dang, that's really good. Especially get a couple drinks in you. You're just like, this is.
I've
the
also
shit.
got this game for Christmas. If we're talking Christmas gifts, I know I brought it up. I have
Please.
it downstairs. It's called Shut the Box. Have you guys seen this on TikTok
No.
or Instagram? It's basically, I only have the outside of, this is going to show you. Oh yeah, here it is. So it's this, right? So this looks very confusing, but really this is just one player's, like, these are your numbers, right? So they're
Okay.
all up. They all start up. And the idea is to roll these dice. So right here, it says a 2 and a 4. So now if
Looking
you're
this off
going,
right
you
now.
can either take down a 6 or you can take down the 2 and the 4. You're shutting them. And then you roll again.
I see.
Your objective is to shut all 10. Now, I've got people knew that I'd like this game because I guess it's like going viral. So I got this one, and then someone else got me the 12-1 version where it's got 12 across. So
Yeah.
I've got 2 versions of Shut the Box. But I will say the 12 block version of Shut the Box, I think might be impossible to do. You have to roll a 10, 11, and 12, and then all the other numbers. Because if you roll, like, let's say you've shut a 6, a 5, a 4, and then you roll like a 3 and a 2, and those are already shut, your game's over. You got to restart.
Wow.
Getting all 12, dude. Now I've got this idea my buddy gave me. everyone that plays should put $1. I should get a huge like bowl, and everyone that wants to play put $1 in. And the day someone shuts the box, you get all the money in that bowl, and it could go on for years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There could be $2,000 in here. It could be 10 years, like 10 years running.
Do it.
To play, you got to throw $1 in.
Do it.
Might as well.
That's my new thing.
That's going to be impossible, dude.
Dude, it's so hard. We had 50 people over this weekend, and not one person even came close. I'm talking like not even within one.
Yeah,
Jesus.
no, the chances of that happening
That's
are
fun.
incredibly low.
Games are great. Games are great.
Oh,
yeah.
We did horse racing this weekend.
Oh, you guys play Phase 10?
Phase 10. The girls were playing Phase 10. The men were playing horse racing. We had 2 different tables going. Horse racing is great. You know horse racing, the wooden horse racing?
I think so, yeah.
Everyone gets dealt cards. You take out the aces and the kings and all the jokers, obviously. So the 2 to the 12. The 12's the queen, the jack, whatever. And you have all these horses. And like the 7 has a lot more pegs to get to the finish line because it's like a more common roll with the dice.
Right.
And the queen has only 2 to get there, and the snake eyes only has 2 to get there. And everyone gets cards. You scratch 4 horses. So the first 4 rolls of the dice, if it's a 7, it's a 4, if it's a 2, and if it's a 9, you take those horses, you put them in the back. Now everyone goes, and as you roll the dice, if you roll a scratch horse, you throw money in the pot.
Yes.
And if you roll a horse that's still on the board, it advances. And whatever cards you have in your hand, if that horse crosses the finish line, you win all the money in the pot, and you split it with whoever has the cards. And I play like that, and it's electric. You're getting down to like a 10 and a 4, and you're screaming 4. I mean, we had hundreds of dollars on the table, and finally, like the 3 came rushing up. The 9 was a Triple Crown winner. It's electric. It's an electric game. I just love playing games, man.
Yeah,
Karaoke games. Like, let's get this thing going. The sun's gonna explode one day.
True. How did the Polaroid situation go over?
Oh my God, incredible. Making people cry.
Really?
Like people they're looking at photos of them with their grandparents or the kids. We got all the kids together. There's all babies. All our friends had babies at the same time. We got 4 babies all within a month of each other.
Amazing.
On the couch. That Polaroid picture is iconic. They're all holding each other's hands, like looking up. They're like 6 months old. It's incredible.
10 years from now, they take the same picture. Yeah.
Yep, I did that, and then I also walked around with the Polaroid camera, the camcorder, and I got everyone to give me 10-year predictions on what's going to happen.
Oh, you mentioned that.
Yeah, so I did that again yesterday with like Yankees, Mets. Oh yeah, I said my Uncle Bobby said hello from heaven. So yeah, funny. It's fun. I mean, you got to get the memories going. You absolutely have to. I had a little bit of issue with the Polaroid film. I think like one of them was cold, so every photo I took just came out blank, and I was like, we need better technology than this. It needs to be digital.
If only there was a phone that I carried around in my pocket that had a camera, I could take these pictures.
I had a bad case of film, which was really like, you could tell that you probably would know that was aggravating me to no end. Because like you got to wait 10 minutes to see if you fucked up. So like, I took a bunch and I'm like getting excited, and I put them all in the drawer to like develop in the darkness. And then I like opened them up and they were all green. And I was just like, well, I'll kill myself. I don't know. Like, I'll end this.
You're Clark Griswold who didn't get his bonus. Just lose Jelly of the Month Club. Just losing your mind.
I can't even describe to you how many people were standing around the drawer as I opened it up to see all the photos, and they were all green. I'm like, this has to be a. I'm checking the back of them. I'm like, I'm getting red. Oh, bad.
Oh well, it sounds like fun though.
Yeah, it's fun.
We love getting out to live events. It's what makes life worth living. It could be a concert, a football game, a hockey game, a golf tournament or round or fun event. It could be a comedy show. We always use Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You know how much we love Game Time? Well, now with their brand new Game Time Picks feature, they're making it even easier. They already made it the easiest. Now they're making it even easier to get to a game. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The Picks feature is making it way easier somehow, fellas.
Make 2025 the year of the concert for you. And just go to a bunch of them. Do it. Like, look up your favorite artists, find out when they're going on tour, find out the dates, or just do that on Game Time. Go on Game Time, put in your favorite artists, find out where they're going to be, when they're going to be there, and go to a bunch of them. There's nothing like a live event. It really is what makes life worth living. You're there with the community. Everybody's watching their favorite thing, whether it be their artist or their sports team or a Broadway play, whatever it is. Go on Game Time, look up what's around you, and just go to stuff because it's really, really fun, and nobody does it better than Game Time.
I mean, it's not only just in America. I'm heading over across the pond to London. I typed in London in Game Time, and Wembley Stadium came up. You can see Dua Lipa, Guns N' Roses, Linkin Park, Oasis. Like, the list goes on and on. It's international, baby. This is what I'm talking about. Game Time. Listen, it's the holiday season. A lot of money was just spent, gift cards, all these things. You got a little extra cash after, maybe grandma gave you a little something, something. Go to an event. Take someone to an event. Let's just make sure that we're living. There's really not that many fun things in life. If you really just strip it all down, it's kind of just like you do life and you just keep going to sleep and waking up and a couple fun things come. Oh, what'd you do last week? Oh, Brian came over and we had a couple drinks, and it's like, okay. No, it's like I'm going to the fucking Dua Lipa concert.
I went to an Oasis concert.
I went and I saw a basketball game. I went and got beers and popcorn. I watched LeBron James fly through the air. I watched the person at halftime catch a bunch of plates on her head.
Red Panda?
That's Red Panda. That's what I'm talking about. That's living. Go watch people be talented.
Download the Game Time app today. Make sure you use our code FORE to easily score great deals with the new Game Time picks. What time is it? Game Time. All right, I think we got our guy Cody. I think we can bring him in here whenever we
Cody
want. So Jones,
Frankie, head golf professional of Barstool Golf. Here he is. Welcome to the show. Our guy, Cody Frankie. How's it going, brother?
Welcome, everybody. How we all doing today?
Fantastic.
Doing great. How are you, Cody? We got to learn all about you. I'm very excited. I know we all sent you some notes. I know Brendan's been talking to you. I really wanted to kind of be on this show, on the podcast. We want to get to know this guy. You're part of the squad now. You're part of Barstool Sports. So welcome. Welcome to Barstool. It's the coolest thing in the world.
Yep.
This brand's been going for 8 years. We haven't added a ton of people over the years, and our overall introductions with new people hasn't historically gone particularly great. You're insanely well received right out of the gate, as is understandable. I know some guys out here that love you, but how's your last week been with people kind of seeing that you're joining the pirate ship?
Yeah, so the phone's definitely been going off all day for the past week. It seems like every single second there's a new ding and there's a new bing, 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 bing going on. So my pocket's vibrating super quick all the time. But it's been fantastic. Just joining the team, getting the call from Dave a couple weeks ago, and just being able to make some content and really excited to grow the game of golf and get people to shoot better scores in 2025.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, you've been doing this for a while. You're a head golf professional, teaching professional out in Wisconsin. I mean, just full disclosure on peek behind the curtain of how we even got here. We have this tournament coming up, this content creator tournament coming up, and we're kind of tossing names in on how we're going to get to a certain number of players. And Dave was, we have a lot of people from Barstool, a lot of people from Good, Bob Does Sports, the whole entire deal. And then we're trying to find these guys that and girls that, would really, really want it. And it's guys that are actually putting the work in that really, really would deserve to be in this tournament. And I had seen a lot of your stuff come up just naturally, just being in the golf world, seeing it on TikTok, seeing it on Instagram, obviously always well received. You're stick. You're an unbelievable golfer. You're funny. You're charismatic. And I sent it to Dave. I'm like, this guy would be great for this tournament. This is exactly who we're looking for. He doesn't even really have his own Instagram. He just does it for the love of the game. He does it for Thornberry Creek Country Club in Wisconsin, Green Bay. There's no pursuit of trying to become famous, really. It's just let's just give people this opportunity to learn the game of golf. And Dave was like, I need to hire him. We have to hire this guy. This guy's electric. So, and then one thing turns to another. The next day, Dave's like, we have him. That's just how Barstool works, where he's like, we got him. He's just now on barstoolsports.com. So, I mean, I'm sure for you, it was your head was probably spinning, being like, what the hell just happened? Never had any contact with us or Dave Portnoy or anything. And the next day you have a new job. But I just want to say, I think you've done a great job. I think that you've earned this. I think that this is not something that we just threw out lightly. I think that this is something that we think that we can really, really build out. I think you're great on social. I think you're great on TikTok. I think these fast these fast, quick, short form lessons and the way that you do them are fantastic. So I just wanted to say that. That's kind of like the backstory of like where I came from with all this. I know the other guys all were in on it with me. I'm texting them saying, should we do this? And yeah, it's just been great. So I'm sure it's just been like a head spinning moment for you though.
Yeah, for sure. Getting that first email from Dave, I was like, okay, which one of my buddies made a fake email address and sent this over? I was like, April Fool's a couple months later, right? So that was a whirlwind for sure. But yeah, to anybody in the fore-play pod and into the universe out there, I do a Tip Tuesday series that's been very well received in short form content. So a minute, 2 minutes long, try to get people better at golf through little tips and tricks. And that's primarily what I do from that aspect. Obviously, I'll grow certain things from the side now joining the pod. But that's primarily where I've had most of my success in terms of being able to reach a whole bunch of people playing golf and learning golf, whether, I'm going to dial it up to a scratch golfer level, or we can really take the wording back down to somebody who's a 35 handicap and teach them the game that way too. Makes a huge difference on both sides.
Well, clearly what you've been doing well before us is working, because, when credit to Frankie sending you to Dave, because, when he mentioned that, I was like, oh, I've seen that guy. I sent one of your videos to Kevin Kisner. Kisner texts back, goes, oh, fuck, I've seen that guy before. So clearly what you're doing in the algorithm has been working, and bringing you under kind of this umbrella is such a no-brainer. It's something that we don't do anything of whatsoever, like our whole kind of brand, and everybody can shit on us for it or love us for it. But is that like we're pretty standard weekend kind of amateur golfers. Sometimes we can play decent. A lot of the time we can hit some really shitty shots. And for you to be kind of this polished, PGA professional is huge for us. Give me a little bit about where you from originally. How'd you get into sort of the game of golf and into this, PGA professional type life, and end up in Green Bay and the whole deal?
Yeah, so I'm originally from North Shore, Chicago, almost pretty much Wisconsin's town called Lakeville, Illinois. Played high school golf there for Lakes Community High School, and then went to school at Fair State University. They're one of the 18 or 17 schools throughout the country that has what's called a professional golf management program. So that's more the business side of golf. So, your club professionals, your person that you're going to have your Saturday scramble with, those are the people that help manage those operations on a day-to-day basis. And it's pretty cool, that job exists. And like when I tell people before, this is what I do, they're like, really? You get to go to the golf course every single day? Yes, there's work in it, but I can always be around golf, which is cool. After that, I went to Desert Willow Golf Resort out in Palm Desert, California. Was there for about 7 years. Love the staff out there. Fantastic. And then just decided I want to move a little bit closer back to home, and found Thornberry Creek at Oneida, which was up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So that was a fantastic fit. Worked for a company called Kemper Sports, their management company. But just always able to stay around golf and stay with golf, which has been fantastic for me.
You know my buddy Josh Lesnick? You know him at all?
I do know Josh Lesnick, absolutely.
Great guy. Absolutely great guy. He's a Uncle Tony Invitational partner of a one Tom Pashley, for everyone that listens and kind of understands a little bit of the fore-play. I think they've won 3 different times now, but the Kemper Sports Group for the Glen Club that we do the Barstool Classic at, that we did the Corn Ferry Tour event last year, that's all Kemper Sports. So a lot of connections here. That's all. Are you Bears guy, I imagine, not a Packers guy?
Yeah, big Bears guy. So every single video now that goes out with me in that Brett Favre jersey is like, what are we doing here? But that's all right.
Yeah,
hey, you make some bets, you got to pay up, right? They lost both games.
Absolutely. Totally. You got to play the game, baby. You got to play the game. You got to. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
that's awesome.
So I'm not a Packers fan. Just get that covered.
I know that it seems to be the one that keeps getting tossed around. That's the video that's like, oh, this is the guy, and it's just you in a Packers jersey. That is tough. No, but dude, we have so many, like, my question to you would be like, obviously you come from this like professional side of the game and like the teaching side, but is like the content that we kind of do, is this something that you're looking forward to kind of getting into? Because I foresee it as being like a really good addition to what we do. We are weekend hackers, quote unquote, but we just put up a video. I took 62,000 miles of flights. We play golf all the time, and like we got to start getting better. Like at some point, like getting better at golf is also a priority for what we do. And like, yes, we suck, and I think that there is an allure to that, but people do want to see better golf. Do you see like you being able to fit in that aspect of it, of being able to like kind of bring your expertise into not only what you're already doing, but into the stuff that we're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you look at, guys on tour and even weekend warrior golfers like all of us. I mean, I'll even put it my way. I'm play golf on the weekends because during the week you're working and stuff in the golf industry, right? So it's going to be unlocking how do players hit better shots? How do you put yourselves in better positions to score? And then how can we take everybody's handicaps and just lower them through basic things that you didn't ever think in your brain? Oh yeah, of course. That makes total sense now that I heard it, but I never heard it described that way before, right?
Yeah.
I think that golfers can easily, and this might be a hot take, but I think golfers can easily, especially if you're somebody that goes out and shoots 105 every single week, go out and break 100 and a couple just small little tips and tricks, right? You had Trent series where they broke 100, right? Now we're breaking 90, now we're breaking 85. There's things that the average core golfer can do to help get their scores better. And it just takes practicing the right things and then not putting yourselves in positions to make high scores on the golf course is really the big thing.
Well, we've got a guy, Jersey Jerry, who we're currently doing. I mean, we could all use help, like you're saying, we're all
Definitely.
weekend warriors, but we've got a guy, Jersey Jerry, who's trying to break 100. And I think bringing you into the fold is going to be big for him because I think we set you two up and we sort of let you guys go at it. And I think you'll have him under 100 in no time.
I love it. I love, anytime you get to work with a new golfer, grow the game is fantastic, right? Golf was unfortunately kind of the sport that everybody thought in high school was the no fun, cool sport to play. And then you turn 25 and you're like, this is the greatest sport ever. How do I do this 4 days?
God, golf is so, we talk about this a lot. Golf is everywhere. It's such an avenue. I mean, obviously we kind of try to run Barstool Golf and fore-play, but there's other brands at Barstool that get involved in the golf world. If you're part of any sport or you're a celebrity or you're a musician, a lot of those people play a ton of golf. And so, God, there's going to be a million different opportunities for you to get in there and help people. And we all need it. We all struggle. And I think there's probably nothing more fun in the world than playing good golf for you, for anyone, like for your level, when you go out there and you get to just play some of your best version of golf. It's a nice, beautiful day. You're out there with friends and you're kind of hitting shots the way that you want to hit shots. It's literally the best experience on the planet.
I don't think there's a better feeling at all, right? You hit it head on the nail right there. It could be, you could have 10 bad holes of bad golf and you play a stretch of 4 or 5 holes and you're like, I'm the best player to step foot on this golf course ever. Like this sport's so easy. Why do we even do this, right? And then you get humbled very quickly on the last 3 or 4 holes and you're like, okay, yeah, double bogey, hit the trees, whatnot. So even the tour guys play that way, right? You'll see some guys where they'll shoot 68 one day and then come back and shoot a 74. Now, they're much better in keeping their scores much closer together. And amateur golfers, like that we see is between, okay, I shot 85 one day, I shot 120 the next day. So how do we make more consistency? That's the number one thing I see from all my lessons I teach from everybody is just how do I become more consistent and how do I get better through consistency?
I'm always amazed when I watch PGA Tour live. I think it's the best insight into how much more similar the pro game is to the normal weekend game than people would guess, because you just see a score at the end and you'll see a 67 and a 69 and you won't realize that like that guy that shot that 69, actually, it's a miracle that he was even close to the person that shot 67, where that guy was just fairway green, making putts. And the guy that shot 69, it looked like he's pissed on every shot, hitting it in the right rough, whatever. But they're so good at, like you said, just keeping it tight, understanding their way to get around a golf course. So you're like, how is that possibly? A guy shot 2 under par and is right in the mix of the tournament. It's amazing.
Well, and you look at let's just take a normal par 4, right? The driving distance on tour for the PGA and their average fairways hit. The number one player is hitting 70% of the fairways. So if you can hit greens more often, or you can leave yourselves easy one up in chips and you can chip and putt, it's still a 4 on the scorecard. There's no pictures on the scorecard, so that doesn't matter. Put your 4 down, go to the next hole, right? You only have to hit 1 or 2 really good shots, maybe 1 really good shot to make a par in some of those things out there. Now, if you're having trouble with the golf balls getting offline and everything, then we need to put some boxes in there, right? We need to make sure we get you a little more carts down the rail type of thing. But you watch some of these guys and you go, well, that person was out of the hole completely. They hit 1 good chip shot. It went to 6 feet. They make their putt and they go to the next hole.
Riggs Barstool. That's the Riggs Barstool way to play golf.
No damage done, right?
Sure is. Sure
Man,
is.
I can't wait to
What
get
Colt
this
knows.
guy in the mix with fucking Jersey Jerry. Like him explaining that to Jerry. Jerry's not going to understand any of it, but you're going to make him so much better. You're going to make all of us so much better with those little just like insights on like, hey, take a step back, learn what you're doing here. Let's figure out the next shot and actually make it simple. Like making golf simple for people that are like kind of all over the place, I think probably is the best asset to have out on the golf course. To have someone being like, take a step back, realize what your next thing is you're going to do. I learned a lot with that with Dr. Brett McCabe, where it's like, stop making everything so overcomplicated. Learn the game in a more simple way.
Yeah, it's always overdone, right? But the toughest 6 inches is just right up here. Like,
Yeah.
you hit a ball
Oh,
fine,
yeah.
say to yourself, I'm going to make an all-world par from there, and it's going to look awesome.
Exactly.
I know, like when these guys first started foreplay, and like the way we've kind of approached it was like bringing people. It was a very stuffy sport, definitely before COVID, even more so. And then we kind of came onto the scene. There was other groups that were also doing the same thing, but it was like more hoodies on the golf course and more athletes from other sports playing golf, and it was just like resurgence of the game, or even just like an explosion of the game. I wouldn't even say resurgence, just an explosion of the game of people that wouldn't normally play golf. I mean, and I know that you mentioned this to Dave, and it'd be insane not to reference, like, obviously you're a bigger fella, like there's no denying that. And I know that you mentioned to Dave, like, being able to show people that you can still play the game of golf, and people that look like me play the game of golf, like to me was also an awesome. I know Dave loved that, where he's like, this guy gets it. Like, this is something that it's so big for the game. Like, and no matter what anyone would say, like, anyone can play this game now. It's the year 2025. No matter what, where color, size, anything, like, wealth, whatever, this game is now accessible. And I think you're one of the pioneers of it now at this point. And with our exposure, I think it's only going to get even bigger and better for you in that aspect.
Yeah, and this is something you could do for long term, right? That's the best thing about this game. You get people out there that love to go out and shoot 120, and they play twice a year, and they just have a blast for 4.5 hours on the golf course. And then you get people that play the golf course every single day, and they love it. That's their routine, over and over and over again. But to your point, Frankie, right? Like, you look at golf 100 years ago, they were wearing 3-piece button suits, and there was no cell phones. And, now it's like, okay, every single group you roll up on has, we got some music going on, right? We got some drinks flowing. We got people wearing shorts. We got, it's really just turned into a great atmosphere and environment, especially if you're going to go spend some money to play. I mean, you can go find golf courses that are $35, $40, right? But to some people, it may be, hey, the one round a year is that $100 round. And to somebody else, that $100 round might be their every single day play. That's the other greatest thing about this sport.
Totally agree.
It is. Part of the Scottie documentary that I was referencing earlier, they got a great part from a press conference where they're asking him about playing with buddies back home and how many strokes does he have to give, or how do they make it close. And he was like, yeah, we actually, every Saturday morning when I'm not playing and I play back at home, there's a group that I play with. And he's like, there's one guy now, they made me move from a +5 to a +7. He's like, so there's a guy that I play against that I give him 20 strokes. He's like, and we have good matches. He's like, I still usually come out on top, but like, if he plays pretty well with his 20 strokes, he could beat the number one player in the world that day, Which
is just crazy, right? So it just tells you, you got to put the ball in the hole. We did our men's member last year kind of type of tournament, and there was a stick at the club. His name's Cal Pouliot. He's a plus handicapper, and he was playing against somebody that was like a 22 handicapper. So he was giving them 20, 25 strokes with a course of 18 holes. And match play format, you make a par here or there, and that's a real easy go one hole up and go to the next hole. But Cal ended up pulling it out, and it's just incredible that you can take two players like that, play them together, and just have a fun day out on the golf course. And there's no like me, all on me for that aspect. It's one of the greatest sports ever.
Agreed.
It is.
Agreed.
It absolutely is. Well, look, I'm pumped. I know everybody on our team is excited. Bunch of people around town here. A couple of the guys up in the shop at Whisper Rock were like, dude, I know Cody. We went to school with him, known him for years, and he's the absolute man. I know Andy Pat now, who's Alistair Docherty's swing coach. He texted me and was like, dude, Cody's the man. So a lot of people, tons of positive feedback, a lot of cool stuff we can do together, posting your videos alone already, even on the fore-play channel and whatnot. Just very positively received. You seem like, I think one of the first things you said in this whole talk was like, I want to grow the game, which is absolutely awesome. So yeah, we're very excited to have you, man.
Thank you guys. Love it.
Yeah, man. Welcome aboard.
We've heard you can swing it, and you can put some back also, is what we've heard. You're a good hang. That's the word around the street, is that you're a good hang.
I think that's all golfers, right? You can swing it from here and there, and you can also go hang out in the bar afterwards.
Yeah, we got to get together. I can't wait till we all meet up at some point. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be great.
TaylorMade guy too, right? You've been TaylorMade staffer for a while.
Yeah, I've been TaylorMade staffer for a while. Just got the new irons, so looking forward to it. Me and Trent, I think I got the same set as you, Trent, the P770s. Or do you get the P790s?
I'm a P790s guy because I was Stealth and QI10 irons, and now I'm going to the 790s because my game's gotten a little bit better. So I'm very excited.
That's awesome. Looking forward to it. They got excellent product.
Frankie both rock the 770s, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
We got to get you out to the Kingdom when we go out there next month.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to get
All my time in Southern California, I never made it over to that area.
Oh,
I
we
mean,
gotta get you out there.
I played some
We'll
golf
get
in
you to
Carlsbad,
Kingdom
but
is-
never at the Kingdom, never at a
Kingdom is Christmas in January for the fellas. You know, it's just a dream being out there.
You'll love it. The Kingdom's out of control. It's actually insane. And someone that can strike the ball like you and actually knows what they're doing, you're gonna have a lot of fun out there.
And they got the best weather in the country, full time.
Oh,
That is true.
So good.
San Diego's outrageous. Carlsbad, fantasy that place.
Thanks again, man. This is it's obviously not easy just like hopping into something right away. I think you've done great. I think you're really showing that you are just like a normal, just like very compassionate guy about the game of golf. You really care about it. You're definitely a different aspect to what we don't have. And I think that's exciting for us. It's exciting for you. It's exciting for the whole brand. I know you're going to go mix it up at the office too with like the big cats of the world and Jersey Jerry's, and off the golf course, you're going to be involved a lot more in Barstool stuff. So I think it's all exciting stuff, man. People are going to be seeing a lot of you. And yeah, we can't wait to get going with you, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Love it. Look forward to shooting better scores in 2025, right?
Let's
Yes,
go.
sir. That's
Need
right.
it.
Preach.
Has to happen. It has to happen.
Preach. All right, Cody. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you very soon. Hopefully,
And the
we'll see you
nickname's
probably at the
Beef,
Kingdom.
right? The nickname
Beef,
is
right.
Beef.
Nickname's Beef.
We're running with Beef. Beef Barstool, or is it Barstool Beef? I think it's Barstool Beef on Twitter and Instagram.
Barstool Beef.
Go follow Barstool Beef on Instagram and Twitter. He's going to be an amazing addition. So have a happy New Year, brother.
You guys have
happy
a
New Year.
wonderful New
Yeah,
Year.
man.
You as well.
Happy New
We'll
Year,
see you in a
Beef.
couple weeks.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Beef.
That's our new guy.
That's Cody Beef Frankie.
He's
Yeah,
perfect.
I mean, listen, he comes on the podcast. That's obviously not like what he's going to be doing a lot of. He's going to be doing a lot of the videos, instructional stuff. But if you've watched any of his stuff, he's so good at explaining like intricate things about the game very simply. He has a real gift for teaching. He really does. And I think obviously there's other reasons as to why he goes mega viral. I mean, he is who he is, and the way that he does it is obviously unique, and he knows that. Dave talked extensively with him about that. Like, this is kind of the world you're going to be in, and this is like, you're going to be getting some comments or whatever it might be, but like, you're fucking electric, dude. Like, the way he does it, I'm telling you, in our videos, he's going to be so good. It's such a natural fit for what we do already. We play matches. We're always looking for different types of games to play. We have to pair up with other groups to get like good golfers to like be like our like, level up player, or like our mulligan player. You take a fireball shot, you have to get Fab Perez or someone else or Brad Dahlke to come hit the shot. We've got an actual PGA pro now on our team. This guy is a head golf professional, teaching professional, gets paid to teach lessons. He's now part of our squad. His name's Beef.
Come on.
I mean, he's from
That's
Wisconsin. He's the nicest guy of all time.
He's also, and we talked about it with him, but he just loves golf. Like, he just wants to grow the game of golf. It reminds me a little bit. Another new hire at Barstool Sports was Gruden, where Gruden told Dave, like, I just want to donate to football. And like, whatever that means, it means. And I think Beef is like, I want to donate to golf. Like, we want to grow this thing. Golf is growing, and he's a big part of it. And he's going to be a big part of what we do going forward. I'm excited. I'm excited for him.
He's just a nice guy. And I've heard that from a lot of people. You could see it in the comments being like, I've been following Frankie forever. Cody Frankie. I've been following him forever. He is never once disappointed in any videos ever done. He's so nice, so compassionate, everything. Like, and even the people that belong to the club that he's at, they're like, you've got the best guy in golf right now. Like, it's crazy that he didn't have any pursuit of fame, really, making his own Instagram account. He just did it for Thornberry Creek Country Club. That's crazy. That just goes to show, like, he didn't give a fuck. Just like, I'm gonna go out there and do Tip Tuesdays.
I do want to ask him too. I meant to there, I forgot, but I do want to ask him, like, if it was his initiative to do, or if there was like a social person that just works for Thornberry that was like, you know what, let's just put some videos out there, because whoever's idea that was nailed it, and it led to this. There's a lot of different funny, interesting ways to get to Barstool, but it is like, he was popping up, man. Over the last year, he started to just pop up in the algorithm. If you're a golf person, guy, girl, whomever that was like looking at golf shit online, Cody was popping up. Beef was popping up.
He was everywhere.
The way it used to work, the internet's changed so much, is like the way Barstool used to hire people and the way Dave used to hire people was people just doing things, and then he grabs them, and they weren't even like, oh, I want to work at Barstool. This is what I want to do. This because I want to do this, and then it's this weird thing. But if you're just kind of doing your own thing and it catches Dave's eye, credit to Frankie for sending him Beef, and then boom, he gets plucked and he's with us now, and he's just gonna continue to do what he's been doing and a lot more. I'm sure we're gonna have him in videos. Would love to take him to the Kingdom. it's just gonna, he's a part of the brand now. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. And I thought the telling of the background of it is important because it's not like us scrambling to try and find some sort of replacement for like Dan Rappaport or whatever. It was like, we legitimately were trying to fill out a list of, and when you guys end up seeing it's a ton of golfers that we're trying to find for this creator tournament that we're doing. And we have a great list. And it was like, and Dave would kind of just like always be responding, being like, oh, like I think we can make it like outside of like the people that we know. There's people that we're not finding. So he really tasked me and us like with trying to give him names that like that we're not used to, that we're not familiar with. And he was like the first guy popped up. We were sitting at lunch, Trent.
We're at the Lucky Shuck in Jupiter.
The Lucky Shuck in Jupiter. We're out there having like ahi tuna bowls or whatever, poke bowls.
Yeah.
And we were kind of going through different people because we were talking to Dave. And I'm like, dude, this guy pops up on my thing all the time. I watch all of his videos. Like, wouldn't he be perfect? And it just goes to show that like Dave sees that and then he's hired within the week. Like, this is such a Dave Portnoy hire. He tweeted it out. He goes, Portnoy's America. Like, this guy's huge. And he also is the nicest guy ever. And people love him. And we just got to grab him. We need to have this. Barstool's a place where people like this succeed, where it's like you go out, just like you guys said, where it's like you go out, you do it on your own. I've been in a million interviews and meetings with Dave when I was his right-hand man. He always used to say, don't tell me what you can do. Show me what you have done.
100%.
Right? Where like, I could work at Barstool. All these comments under our stuff. I could be so much better than Riggs and Frankie and Trent. Just give me a shot. It's like, well, like, go do it. And like Cody went out and did it. He has a million Tip Tuesday videos.
Dude.
He's out there getting a bunch of videos going viral. He is who he is. Like, he just he owned it. And he went out there and he did it. And I couldn't be happier for the guy. I'm very happy he's a part of our brand.
Me
and
too.
It's just, it happened so naturally and it happened so old school Barstool. Like, Dave sees Mincy going crazy watching an Ole Miss game. Hired that night.
Dude,
Dave sees Brandon Walker going crazy because points bet or something like went under and everyone went to there. And all of a sudden he's like, Dave, hired.
Yeah.
He's a main fixture at Barstool Sports now. Like that, it just goes to show you, it's like anything can happen.
Dave likes, it would appear, like the less established. Like you're just sort of doing it. Like when I emailed him, I had my own thing going. I was getting sued for t-shirts I was making. I wasn't even asking for a job. I was like, I want legal advice. What do I do? And bang, gets picked up. Like this is a very traditional Barstool hire, big time.
Beef had no intentions of going to work for Barstool Sports. It wasn't even on his radar. He didn't want to be a TikTok star. He just wanted to give people tips. And now it's like, now we go, Beef. Now it's like, you're just in it now.
Frank the Tank yelling about NJ Transit. Dave sees him on the news or whatever. Like there's countless stories like that at Barstool, and it usually leads to lots of success for that person.
Frank the Tank was doing the sports encyclopedia for like 20 years without anyone watching or reading it. He ate his own words after like the United States men's national team lost. He literally ate. He goes, if this team loses, I will eat my words. And he ate it for 0 views on YouTube. Yeah. There was 0 people that watched it. And he ate a piece of paper and swallowed it. That just goes to show, it's like, you just have the love of the game, man. And and it's not like Cody was throwing himself out there, tagging us or anything. It's just, he went out and did it. And this is kind of a lesson or like, a thing for people to take on if you have like this vision or this dream of being in content. And we get a lot of tweets about this where it's like, go do something, go do it. Like, we all kind of just like did it. Like we went out and we like did it on our own, like it's just, you got to go do it. And Cody's like the number one, example of that. So
it's also how you find the people who are actually passionate about it, because you're just doing it. Like people who are doing it to get this, to get that, or that's one way to do it. But if you really have passion for something, and for a lot of us, it was just like being on the internet, wanting to be funny on the internet, having something that we loved, and we were just doing it, not with a goal in mind. You're just doing it. And if you do it for long enough, you get lucky and you catch the eye of the right person, and it just goes in that way. And I really think Cody Frankie, our guy Beef, fits the mold perfectly. So we're talking a lot about it, but I'm just very excited to have him on board.
Love him.
Speaking of doing it just because you love it, we got Alistair coming in here. So I don't know if he's in the waiting room or whatever, but let's get Mr. Docherty in.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
There he is. Let's go. How we doing, brother?
Hey, Al.
How are you guys?
Great.
Fantastic.
Hi.
We're doing
great.
Nice
hat, Riggs.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful hat you
Matchup,
got there.
man.
We got called twins this morning at our little coffee date after hockey.
That's adorable.
Thank you.
You
It
guys
was
do look
nice.
alike.
Yeah, two good-looking guys having breakfast.
Does Alistair,
We did.
Alistair, do you skate as well? Are you out there with Riggs?
Oh yeah, there might have been a couple highlights that we might have to pull up on the live barn later, but it was a fun little skate this morning.
Well, dude, like a month or so ago, Alistair out of nowhere just texted me like a clip of him scoring a goal in this morning, like drop-in skate. And I watched it, and it was him sniping. It was great. And then I thought about it a couple of days later. I was like, how the fuck did you get footage of you scoring in like a 6 a.m. game that's just drop-in hockey? And he was like, dude, and there's this Live Barn app that now I'm a premium subscriber to as well, where basically every like hockey rink in the country has a camera above the benches that captures everything. So I can watch Robbie's hockey games now. I could go back. They like keep the footage in there so you can watch it live.
Wow.
They got
No
archive
way.
footage and whatever. And so we will for this little clip. It'll be funny. There were a couple Alistair Bazoyan connections out there this morning at the 6 a.m. skate at the ice den. It was
Wow.
delightful.
They
Yeah, it
need
was
to do
really-
that, and they might. I feel like there's maybe a place that does it for par 3. Put a camera,
know.
a live camera on a par 3, and let everybody watch. Just if I'm bored, just hanging around, I would love to be able to just see live golf of regular golfers hitting shots. I think that'd be amazing.
There's a couple of clubhouses across America that I think have that like installed in their clubhouse for the guys to like kind of sit around. They watch the par 3. They do dollar bets. That needs to be a mainstay at every single
I
golf
know.
course.
Put it
for
on
sure.
the World Wide Web. The boys want to watch
Yeah.
other people play.
Do you know where is also a good amount of resorts do it now because they know so many people are like either watching, dreaming about their trip coming up in the next year or two, or their family and friends back home. Like I know the first tee at Pebble Beach you can watch at any given time. I think the first hole at each course at Bandon, you could just watch the live feed online. And I know that because like this last year, going into our Bandon trip in the summertime, like our boys would just send out the link being like, just watching a couple guys stripe it. One guy fanned one on the first tee. They're like getting all jacked up for it. So it is a good idea. But yeah, anyways, me and Alistair, we do watch our own footage of us playing hockey in the morning. It's kind of nice.
Reliving the glory days. I love it.
All right, Alistair. So you are our Barstool Golf sponsored athlete, great friend of the program. I pulled up a couple stats. At the end of 2023, you were ranked 691st in the official World Golf rankings. Now you're 229th. Coming into 2024, you had $195 in total career Korn Ferry Tour earnings. I didn't add the PGA Tour before, but there was one cut made. This year, PGA Tour plus Korn Ferry Tour, you had $643,834 in total 2024 career earnings. So really a career year. We can obviously get to the heartbreaking stuff at some point, but overall, in terms of a stepping stone, trying to make it professional golf, a career year so far.
Yeah, 2024 was a great year. Sure, there was some heartbreaks, but I wouldn't have had the heartbreaks if I didn't play well earlier in the year. So I'm happy where I'm at, and I know that the future is very, very bright.
Do you feel like you got better? Like, do you genuinely, are you like, I'm just better at golf, way better at golf?
Yes. I take pride in trying to get better every single day, and I definitely did that this entire year. So I can definitely say I am better at golf than I was in the beginning of last year.
Specifically in what way? Because you play at such a high level. You obviously have incredible skill, incredible talent. Like in what aspects of the game do you feel like you got better at?
In just about everything. I've always been a very, very good ball striker. And that has definitely stayed with me, but my short game and my putting has definitely gotten better. Statistic wise, it's still a little bit of my weaker side. But it's gotten a lot better since last year for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of highs and a lot of lows. I would say the lows are just more stinging, but more highs than lows for sure. You had a great year, locked up, a lot of stuff for next year, which is great. Without those close encounters with the PGA Tour, you would have never even considered this to be anything sort of a negative year. You'd only say that it was only positive. So do you feel now, though, because of how close you have come, it's almost like going into next year, you're looking at the guys around you being like, oh, I'm just better than these guys because I've basically proven it. It's just I need to now just go out there and play my game and I'm going to get it done now. It's almost like, to me, when I see a PGA Tour pro that kind of flirts with this card and then goes back down to a Korn Ferry event, they always seem to kind of be in the mix of getting back in because they know that they are better than the other guys. Something mentally. in them that's like, of course I'm going to be in this top 5 or I'm going to win this tournament to get back in? Are you starting to feel that kind of confidence starting to creep in? Because you're just like knocking on the door. So the hockey reference, like you're getting pucks on net, man. Like they say, don't go into the locker room and change anything. Just keep firing. And like the puck's going to go in at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Pucks in deep, pucks on net.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cycle it.
I definitely feel like I'm knocking on the door. Obviously, the close calls are me actually knocking on the door. It's
the door was halfway. I mean, we were turning the knob. Like the knob,
yeah,
the lock
sure.
has been unlocked. The knob turned, and then it's like, no, all right, but we're just gonna wait one more year. That's all we're doing. That's all that is.
Yeah, it's a confidence thing as well as the mindset going in trying to win every event instead of, all right, I just need to make this cut in order to keep my card. I need to just squeak by. It's all right. How do we set ourselves up for Sunday back 9 having a chance to win, or can we run away with this thing? So it's the switch in mindset, and then having the right group of people around me and my team, and everybody's on my side helping me get better every day. So that's all I can be thankful for, and just the opportunity ahead, right? And just like you said, the door's starting to open up, and it's time to just bust through it.
Totally.
Well, we said, Riggs and I talked about it on the podcast right after the last tournament where, and you probably don't give a shit about this, but like we've talked about on this podcast a lot about how do we portray to a larger audience how life and death, how close these guys can come to getting their card, not getting it, or getting their card. And, it just so happens that the guy that wears Barstool golf merch every single week is the guy who came the closest twice, and it just didn't happen for him. But again, you probably don't care about it, but it has shown a larger.
Might be our fault that we put our brand on you.
It partially might be our fault, and I'm willing to wear that. But I think you've done a service to the Corn Ferry Tour on like showing, because we talk about you on this podcast, and we're talking about, it's going to be on the Golf Channel, and everybody should watch it. And then again, it's our fault, but you come so close, and the heartbreak is so real. And then you come on this podcast, and I'm sure you're going to talk about it. Like, you are giving a voice to this thing that we've been talking about for so long of how can we tell these stories, because they are so interesting, and the stakes are way higher than they are watching Scottie Scheffler win the 9th tournament of the year. It's like, oh wow, that guy, now he made $80 million instead of 75. Like, I think what you've done is very important. I'll say it again. You probably don't give a shit about that because you just want your card, but I want you to know, I think you've done a service of showing just how fucking hard it is to get your card, man.
Well, thank you. And yeah, I mean, you go back a couple of years and I wouldn't have been here without you guys, especially, Riggs, and setting me up for a little bit more success. It's just propelled me into where I'm at today. But yeah, it's definitely heartbreaking. You don't want to be on the Corn Ferry for that long. You want to get to the next level. You want to be taking down Scotties and Tigers and run after those accomplishments that they've had. But right now we're stuck at the Corn Ferry Tour, and we're going to do everything we can to get out of it and go to the next level.
What an interesting business the Corn Ferry Tour is. Like, everyone there is just trying to get away from there, and it's like Alistair drawing all this attention to the Corn Ferry Tour is actually like bad. Like, it's great for this part of the game, but it is like the attention would be not. It's going to be great when it happens. It's like, oh, he made it to the PGA Tour. What a phenomenal story. But it is like, to what Trent's saying is, when you watch Hard Knocks and stuff, there's definitely some really cool moments with some of the more celebrity-like top-tier players, obviously. But the stuff that sticks with you are those fucking meetings, man, of people that are right on the bubble. And when they get brought in and they're told they made the team, or when they get brought in and they're told they're just not quite up to it and they get cut, and how much of an impact that has on the coach and the coaching staff, and that quietness after that guy leaves the room of them being like, fuck me, that guy's such a good guy, that hurt. Or when somebody makes the team and they find out, and the elation, and they're all jacked up. Like, that really is better entertainment for how much it means to people at that time. And I'm with you. Like, I was similar to most people out there until I really got to know you, or we got kind of closer to the real golf world of like, I just didn't pay much attention outside of the top 5 or 10 or 15 players in the world and the top big events. But when you really dig in and you start to learn some of the stories, and you're like, man, this weekend, this person is playing for what they've worked for their entire life, and just the opportunity to play on the PGA Tour, versus Corn Ferry Tour, or even, if final stage, like you've been there 3 different times now, but a couple times you've been there at final stage where it's like, okay, this final round, if you play well, you could finish inside the top 5 and get your PGA Tour card. If you play poorly, you could finish outside the top 40 and you almost have nowhere to play at all next year. That's like 1 or 2 rounds of golf. That's just a different level of entertainment and like emotional attachment to the outcome, even as a viewer.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like Q School. It's life or death. That's what it is. It's one tournament. Even if you go back to first stage, it's people that are grinding through just to get past first stage. Then you got to do it again at second stage, and then you get to finals. And well, you can either get your PGA Tour card, or you could be back working in an office with conditional status, and most likely never going to get a start. So it's life or death. It's life changing week, and I'm just happy where I'm at and just ready to get to the next level.
Can you walk us through that hour right after you walk off the 18th green? What are you doing? Are you breaking something? Are you looking at your phone? Are you like, what's that? Because it's a devastating hour and you're just like, fuck. What are you doing that first hour right after you walk off 18?
Well, I went and signed my card, and of course they've got all the TVs going and they're broadcasting it live, and I'm seeing people's interviews and everybody celebrating, and I'm just, down in the dumps thinking about all the different things that I could have done better. And I mean, it was one shot, right? But in the grand scheme of things, I had a very poor front 9 and gave myself a lot of great looks on the back, but just nothing would go in. And I left the clubhouse. They asked for an interview, and that's the first time I think I denied an interview. And I was just ready to get out of there. It was a very tough spot. Brando and I walked straight to the car. Didn't say anything to anybody. Grabbed my stuff from the locker, got into the car, and got out of there as quick as possible back to the Airbnb. And we actually stopped at a gas station, got some depressing snacks, some Reese's and some candy bars, and we just sat there and we had a little discussion. And honestly, what Brando told me, and I'm going to keep that between us, but I felt like I could have ran through a wall. I was ready to get back out there and go do it again. Like, he's my boy. He's going to be there with me this entire year, and we're going to go get a PGA Tour card. So it was a tough hour. It was a tough few days of reflection, and I had a little time off, but it's go time now. It's time to get back to it.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's interesting because in your situation in golf, like, you now have just control to just do it again. And it's like, it's not, yeah, you came close and yeah, it didn't go your way, but that doesn't mean that anything changes. You can just now go out and have a great year again. Like, it's not like in like your baseball team, like, made it to the World Series and then everyone left the team. You have no chance next year. Like, that was your one shot. Like, Alistair Docherty just is still Alistair Docherty, and he's going to go out and just play that same golf next year. And that should feel a little comforting to you, being like, I can just do this again. Nothing has changed. If anything, it's going to get better. Like, another year of experience, another year of getting better, another year of grinding, having that motivation, and now having experiences on your side. You don't know how you're going to perform in those moments until you're in them. And yet now you can take things away from that and learn from it. And still, dude, like we talked about in the last show, you were fucking bombing drives on like the tightest little fairways. Like, the landing areas were the size of a fucking rug. Like, it was, you were taking on spots that the other guys that you were playing against were too pussy to take on, and you were still doing it, and you were going after it, and you were hitting them perfectly. It's like a couple of shots didn't hit the green in the right spot that you wanted to. And 18, obviously, like, something happened with that, with it flying over. What happened on 18? What happened on 18? I just got it. Because I've been trying to figure out. Here's my question before you answer. Did the other two guys going short right impact your decision making at all?
No, they hit terrible golf shots.
And you knew that right away.
Yeah,
you didn't think it was the wind or okay.
No, you could hear like a clank. Like, they did not hit it solid. They did not hit the shot they needed to, and they were also in kind of bad spots. I mean,
got it.
Yeah, their decisions were their decisions. We had 169 pin. We had 175, 174 back edge, and we had just a little bit of wind off the left and a little down. And you go back to 17, and we had 159 pin, so it was 10 yards less. And I hit a 9-iron and hit a great shot. And it wasn't a full 9-iron, so I felt like I could go at the full 9-iron on 18, and it wasn't going to go long. It's been going max 165 all week. And so I was like, okay, a little down off the left. If I swing this full, it's not going to go 174. If anything, it'll go 168 and then stop right there. And when I hit it, I hit it great. It was just left of the pin. I figured when that's going to come down, I'm going to have inside 15 feet. I'm going to have a chance at my PGA Tour card. And then you could just see this huge bounce. And I looked at Brando. I was like, did that just go long? He goes, I don't know. Maybe it's just on the fringe. And I saw the highlight afterwards. That thing carried 177.
177-yard 9-iron.
Yeah. And I mean, what are you supposed to do? I hit my shot. I hit the club that we wanted to hit.
Is it adrenaline? Like what are you resorting that to?
I guess. But we were kind of factoring that in. So like in my mind, and what Brando and I have done is like under the gun, I would much rather swing full. And if I am going to have the adrenaline rush, it's going to go 5 to 7 yards longer. And that's just carry. And the greens were soft enough that if it lands between the pin and the back edge, it should stop. And it just happened to carry 2 to 3 yards too far.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
essentially.
And it is hard to
normal
hit on
9-iron
one
carry?
swing. You're not going to hit a pitching wedge there. Like that's just like
no
you
chance.
were never going to do that.
No, and where the other two, like you said, did that impact me? But where they ended up, that little cut in the green was 158 cover. So like I'm not going to hit pitching wedge and cover that comfortably ever, unless it's downwind howling and I'm in Colorado.
Yeah.
So it was a 9-iron all day. It went a couple yards long, and then
It's also just like not the shot that you go back to. It's like it's 4
Right.
rounds of golf. There's so many shots. It's just
course.
this is the way the sport sucks in the fact that like, all right, like you grinded the whole day. You actually got yourself in a position to get that one shot, and like it's an impossible up and down from there. I mean, with like the way and where the pin was, like that's not the easiest thing to be like, hey, make an up and down from here right now to get your PGA Tour card. There's many other shots throughout the day that you can go back to, like you said. So it is hard to pin it on one decision, which you can't do.
Right.
But it's just that's just the way the sport. Yeah.
Also, you're out there. Think about that. You're out there talking about adrenaline. You're like, all right, this adrenaline, I think, is going to take this thing 7 yards further. It's like, holy shit, man. We're really out here in the weeds. Like, it's hard, man. Golf's impossible, and especially at that level, under those circumstances, it seems impossible.
Yeah.
So
I mean, maybe just a little less wind. That would have been nice.
Also, we've talked about this a lot today. It's like it is great that like I don't know how to even like explain this. Like you don't have more pressure because you're part of like the Barstool world, but like you kind of do in the sense that like not as many people would have been like so drawn to your story. Is that like helping you kind of like move forward in your career? Do you feel like, or do you feel like this is something that you weren't like, there's other guys that you're competing against that like nobody knows their name and they're just like making it through, kind of just skating by, just playing their own golf. They have no fan base. They've got no one posting their videos, no one posting their scores. Like, I wonder where you fall on that, where it's like, are you okay with like all the eyeballs on you and all the attention that this is kind of bringing?
Yeah.
It's a hard question.
I have more fans than I thought I ever would. So I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay.
The trolls are crazy. I'll tell you that. I mean, I'm living what Riggs gets almost every week now. It's insane. So I had to turn off all the notifications.
I do feel bad about that.
Well, that's what I was
part.
trying to get to, where it's like we're bringing in like a whole lot of more shit than you probably were anticipating on the Corn Ferry Tour. Usually this is resorted for like some more serious shit, people trolling a guy for not making the PGA Tour card. That's never happened in the history of the Corn Ferry Tour.
No, and I mean, if they were out there, they wouldn't have a chance. So it's fine.
100%.
Yeah.
Fuck
No, absolutely. And I think you can handle it, but you never know. Like we see it with every colleague we've ever had, where it's like people get hired by Barstool. Most people, by the nature of being a Barstool fan and getting hired here, you have thick enough skin, you can handle it, but everybody handles it a little bit differently. A lot of people are a little dishonest about how they handle it. Like, oh, I don't check it, I don't read, but like it affects everybody to some degree, some more than others, whatever. But it is crazy. It's like I'm watching afterwards. I don't give a fuck what people say to me at this point. Luckily, call it thick skin. You've just been through it enough. Whatever, it is what it is. Life's pretty good. But like when I'm watching afterwards and then I'm seeing some of the tweets and some of the Instagram comments and I'm looking, I'm like, the guy made $650,000 playing golf this year. He's literally one stroke short, basically 3 different times, like finishing second in Myrtle Beach, finish first there, you get your PGA Tour card. And then the end of the year, and then obviously final stage. He's got a great setup going into next year, probably a couple sponsors, exemptions into PGA Tour events if he wants to, as good a status you could have on the Corn Ferry Tour. And just like great dude with great friends, gets to play at Greyhawk and at TPC and is propelling himself in his career. And you look at the people that are kind of sending those comments in, and you're like, well, actually, you don't know anything what you're talking about, so it's easy to remove yourself from it. But if you didn't want to remove yourself from it, you could also be like, well, you're also just wrong. Like, if you look at it, like your final round in Myrtle Beach was like clearly the definition of the clutch cheat. You could have made like 11 grand that week, aka basically nothing for what it cost to go on. Instead, you made 356 grand and like change your whole financial status for several years to come. You go into the final round of the tour championship, and it's like you could have easily finished in a spot that week that would have been middle of the pack, would have been a complete non-threat. Instead, you posted such a sick final round under the biggest pressure that you ended up in a spot where it had to have kind of a miracle up and downs from two different guys for you to not get your tour card. And then you go in and it's like this week, this time 2 weeks ago, where it was like, wasn't your best final round, but 3 rounds under the most intense pressure that Scottie Scheffler himself said, like the most pressure he's ever felt in a golf course is final stage trying to get his tour card. It's like, clearly it's not some collapse issue. It's like the guy's played his best under the most pressure. So it's easy when you lay out all the facts to be like, oh yeah, fuck the trolls. But I do worry about that part because it's like, if you didn't know us, you wouldn't get any of that. Nobody would respond to anything whatsoever at all.
I don't know how to respond to that. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So it is what it is, and the trolls control. And I'm, like you said, I'm in a way better spot.
Trolls are equal opportunity as well. They're doing it to Riggs. They're doing it to me. They're doing it to a guy who missed his PGA Tour card by 1 stroke. It's not because it's not personal. Is the way you got to realize. Where it's like, bro, if you had got your tour card, they would have been like, well, you wouldn't have been there because you're
sure,
blah blah blah. Like they're just gonna, whatever the subject matter is, they'll latch onto it.
Haters are gonna hate.
I'm dying. Of course, I'm dying to break 85. I'm trying my best, and they're gonna troll for that. You almost got your PGA Tour card. They're gonna troll you for that. It's like the one good thing about trolls is they do it to everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And the reason I even brought it up is because I think the answer is that it's all great stuff. It's a good thing that you are in this spotlight and people do know who you are, because it's like, that's the pressure that you want. You're in the position, you're playing golf for a living, and like you want people to know what you're doing. And you're going to go out there and you're going to perform because you're an athlete and you want to get it done. You want people to watch. You don't want to be out there just doing it for nobody. Everyone wants you to win. They all want you to succeed. We're all on the Alistair train pretty goddamn hard. We're going to get there next year. My question for next year is, and we've discussed this at length, like going into next year, if you were to get like into PGA Tour events, is that something that you're considering like not doing so that you can play more Korn Ferry events? Like we've always talked about how like it's bullshit. You could play in a PGA Tour event and then you miss weeks of like pursuing that status on Korn Ferry where you're not getting any points, and then the guys that you're competing against are getting points. How do you feel about that going into this next year? Do you have a different plan?
Yeah. I mean, I've got an idea in my head of getting off to a good start and getting myself in a spot where I do have the option that I can go take a week off and go play in a PGA Tour event. Luckily, the Myrtle thing works out perfectly in the schedule for the Korn Ferry stuff. It's during an off week. But if there's other exemptions during the year, and I feel like I have a hold on things and know that I'm in a good spot for getting my PGA Tour card, I have no issue taking a week off and playing on the big tour. I feel like it's more money. Yes, it's another chance to gain status out there, but that's where I want to be playing. I want to see how I stack up against them every single time I get a chance to do it.
Yeah. Such a hard decision they put you guys in. Like, I don't know, all this shakeups in PGA Tour, Korn Ferry, and all these new rules and CEOs and everything. How are they not figuring out a way that if a guy earns his way into a spot on the PGA Tour and cannot compete on the Korn Ferry Tour, that somehow his performance on the PGA Tour does not allocate any points to his Korn Ferry status? That to me is like I don't know what's going on in the White House and all these other things. What this needs, this is a hot button issue right here. We got to figure this shit out now. That's fucking insane. You're literally playing on the Korn Ferry Tour to get on the PGA Tour. So when you have an event on the PGA Tour, how is that not affecting what you're trying to do on the other? It's like, I want to use some like bad words, right? It's like, this is crazy.
Do it.
This is bad.
I'm
going to give him the middle finger.
What's the argument against it? The argument against it would be what? It's like, these exemptions are special so that it's not an equal opportunity of like everybody has a chance to get these points.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's the way the world works, though. It's
but
like
it's
he's
not
getting
even
in
just
because of who
exemptions,
he
though.
is.
It's like if he goes out and he Monday qualifies into an event, which has nothing to do with an exemption. He like earns a
True.
spot into an event and then goes and finishes second. He still doesn't get any points for the Corn Ferry Tour.
Good point. If you earn it, then it really makes no sense.
Yeah, for sure. There's got to be some kind of way, even if it's like a half point system or 3/4 of a point system, depending on where you
Something.
play in. I do understand the Myrtle one because it's not during a Corn Ferry event, but the ones that if I were to take off and play during a Corn Ferry event, I feel like I should get points or some kind of help there.
It's tough. It's really, really bad. I think it's bullshit because it's really not happening that often. When they do get in, it should be a big moment. It should be nice promotion for the Corn Ferry Tour. It should be all this stuff.
Right.
Like there should be a storyline around this guy playing. It should not be a negative thing. There should never be a situation in which someone that wants to pursue their dream, that's playing on this tour, that's bringing eyeballs to the tour, should ever have to make the decision to not play in the big league tour event because they want to do so. That to me is so backwards.
It is.
Like the strength of the field on the PGA Tour is better than the Corn Ferry, right? So there should be some kind of reward for playing well on a PGA Tour event when you're taking that week off to play in a PGA Tour event when there's a Corn Ferry event going on.
Agreed.
And it's not like the Corn Ferry Tour is like the DP World Tour. Like I understand that like the European Tour and the PGA Tour, there used to be plenty of guys, European players, not as much anymore now, but that would play X amount of events on the European Tour because that was actually kind of where they wanted to play. And yes, they would do a certain amount on the PGA Tour, but their home was the European Tour. And they were Ryder Cup guys and they loved promoting the European Tour. And if they played on European Tour for the rest of their life, that was pretty equal with their life goals. They'd play the British Open, whatever. The Corn Ferry Tour only exists for people to try to get to the PGA Tour. That's literally the only reason that it exists. It's not the goal. It's not the dream. That's not, no offense to them, but they know that. That's like you guys are all there trying to get the PGA Tour. So then if you do the thing on the PGA Tour, you don't get credit for it on the Corn Ferry Tour. In fact, you get punished. It's like by playing the Canadian Tour event this year and not on the Corn Ferry Tour that week, if you would have got some points, that could have made the difference in getting the card. Like that's insanity. That's just insanity. Yeah. So I think that's a little bit ridiculous, but you still, like Frankie made a great point earlier, like you still know what you need to do. It's not like you're a hockey team that got to the Stanley Cup Finals, came up a goal short, and then 5 of your best players are leaving and you're not sure how you're going to retool. It's like, no, you're Alistair. You've got the game. You've got the resources. You've got the confidence. You got the experience. It's like if you go out and just have the great year that I think and you think everybody thinks you're going to have come this time next year, there's plenty of guys that got their tour card just now that you're going to be in a better spot than they are. Like they're not going to have, plenty of guys are not going to have renewed their card, not played well enough, and you're going to have more confidence and be to the moon. So I know taking, a little 9 or 10 months is not easy. Time fucking that shit's hard. It's patience. But I think looking at it glass half full like you've done is very impressive. I do apologize for some of the trolling that you get. That's completely unwarranted. I saw too. It's like I noticed right afterwards, like Golf Digest is posting like a picture of Alistair, and it's like one player came up one shot short multiple times this year, and I was like, I know they're giving that more love and attention, largely because obviously our following and it's got Barstool, written on your head, and that's going to get.
He made it in the end of year video, the PGA Tour video. He made it in the end of year video. He was like hitting a drive. Did you see that? Like it was like Tiger Woods and Alistair.
It's a good swing.
It was a great
nice
swing.
Really nice swing.
Great swing.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Great fucking year is really what it comes down to. It's hard not to feel that heartbreak, which is you want to feel. That means you care. It's like Brando, by the way, Alistair's caddy is such a beauty. We rode in a cart together all day Saturday. We were partners out there, and we were partners, and he's just the best. He had his little fisherman hat on. By the way, we got to get him. We're getting him a custom. He wears like a lot of caddies. He wears the sun hat, fishing hat, whatever you want to call it, the wide brim, like soft one that a bunch of caddies wear. And he asked me, he's like, would it be possible if I got Barstool like written on the side of them? And I was like, yeah, you can use the logo and the name for whatever you want. So we're going to get him some custom hats going into next year. But he's like He's unbelievable. That guy. I don't know how you found that guy, but he's absolutely incredible. He's incredible.
Just luckily, Brandon Harkins lent him to me for Myrtle and kind of took him over from there.
He finished second.
How do we
so
help
that makes sense.
Alistair this year? Like, are you gonna have any weeks that you can like do a video with us where we like simulate like trying to get you to like shoot like a fucking 58 or something? Like can we keep you like going? Like I want to get you in the mix. I know you're gonna be so busy this year. Like you're gonna be playing events every fucking week, but like, are you gonna have any time to like show the YouTube world just how good you are? Shut the trolls up a little bit.
I mean, I'd love to. Whenever it works in schedule. I mean, we're out of the country for 6 of the first 9 weeks of the year. So we go Bahamas, Panama, Colombia, Argentina, Chile, and then we've got a few weeks off. So a few weeks off in March.
Chile.
You guys come out to Scottsdale and we'll do something.
Yeah, we got it. Because I just think like going into this year, I really think that I think that would just show, and I think it would show yourself too. It's like, not only like you're so much better than everyone that's talking about anything.
Oh yeah.
Like all this YouTube world, like, and I'm sure, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna apologize straight off the rip. Like we did all these podcasts with like Luke Kwan and Dalkey. I basically milked Brad Dalkey, like in the palm of my hand, like Geppetto.
Did Riggs tell you my comment on that?
He did. Where it's just like, you're so much better than these guys. It's not even close. You're there. I mean, you finished second at Peter Tour. You are there. So at the end of the day, we need to start showcasing that a little bit more. And I think
agree.
this year would be a great year to do it because I think you're gonna have a ton of confidence, and I think it'll show, and I think people will get to see who you are a little bit more, and I think it'll just help you. I think you're one of those guys that like will like kind of grow, like that'll kind of like motivate you to just keep going. Like you start to like show people how good you are. It's like Dr. Brett McCabe stuff. Like, don't say watch us, say watch this. Like show off a little bit.
Yep.
Like you showing off a little bit, I think would be like huge for you. Cause it's all momentum, man. Like, confidence is everything in the sport. That's coming from a guy who knows nothing about the sport, but it seems like it is.
No, you know enough. You know enough.
It's coming from a guy that has used everything that he's just talking about to really transform his game into a very, very good player, Frankie. Like that is, the mental
you got to
and
give
confidence
yourself some more
aspect is
credit.
Dramatically what changed your game over the last year and a half. Big time.
That like what I used to say, like the little watch out to watch this thing. It's like, it's so good, dude. I've said that to like Islander players where I'm like, you haven't scored in 10 games. Like, just like start showing off out there. Yeah. Like everyone just needs to be reminded about it a little bit.
Say that a little bit more to them, right?
Yes. My guy Brock hasn't scored in 13 games. I know it's tough.
Let's go Blues, by the way. Winter Classic.
Yeah,
I feel the Blues are in the Winter Classic like every single year. How many times have the St. Louis Blues been in the Winter Classic?
Dude, they weren't in it forever, and they have been in it a couple. Well, that's what happens when you win the Stanley Cup. All of a sudden, you get a little bit of attention. It looks like
even like stadium series they've been in. It's just like I feel like the Blues are always playing outdoors.
I don't know. They've been.
How the Canucks doing right now?
Well, a little injured, but we'll be fine. We like to get up 4-1 and then lose 5-4 in overtime. So.
Heard that.
That was insane.
Wish I didn't hear it, but I heard that.
Yeah, that's
very gross.
That's preaching. How about, I don't know if you guys can see, I took this picture this morning of Alistair, and you can see he's got Vancouver Canucks seat backs in his car.
Wow.
I'm a diehard. I've got everything Canucks. I actually got a few jerseys for Christmas, and they're pretty legit. They're nice.
Amazing.
Amazing. You already had like 5 jerseys. It's unbelievable.
Add to the collection.
It's a great logo and jersey.
Sweaters.
And they got a great color scheme. Is.
Do you have the 94 ones? You have that one?
I have the Canucks with the skate.
96?
With the skate.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that's my favorite. It's Trevor Linden jersey.
It's the black with the orange and yellow.
Mm-hmm. Pavel Bure.
Yeah, beauty.
Good.
Yeah, favorite player is Trevor Linden, so that's I get one jersey almost a year of Trevor Linden, so it's a good collection so far.
Speaking of logos and jerseys and shit, I just made this logo. I got this logo made for Borelli's. We're celebrating our 70th year this year.
Wow,
that's awesome.
So look at this, coming out of like a 1950s car.
Oh yeah,
how sick is that?
Oh, that's really nice.
Oh yeah,
isn't that good?
10.
It's clean.
Oh yeah.
Did you AI
back
that
to stop looking like
Chat GPT?
No, I used that fucking that website that you told me about.
99 Designs.
99 Designs. What a great website, man. You get all these people, which I'm sure they're using AI at this point too. It's a little scary. Like a lot of the submissions seem like they're AI, which I really don't like that, where it's like a lot of people are trying to get old business owners to just like accept their logo, and they probably put no work into it. And sometimes like the lettering's off. You could tell it's AI. But this guy, a little bit of a wild card, like the messages he's been sending me, but he made a nice logo.
That's part of it. He's a designer.
Yeah, he's been sending me some weird stuff for sure.
He wrote like
he wrote. I think I don't know where he's from, but at the end he like wrote like "I eat there" with a smiley face and a question mark, and I was just like, yeah, just send me the picture
up, dude.
Just I need that AI file.
No, the logo looks good. That's good. 70 years, man. Good for you guys.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Awesome.
Crazy.
70 years. All right. Well, this is our last podcast of the year. So, Happy New Year, everybody.
New Year resolution. Alistair, what is it? Make the PGA Tour?
Yeah, that's number one for sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It better be.
Love it.
Otherwise, you're cut. You're done.
I'm getting my tour card.
We got to have that.
Just like you
said. Also, wear our 100%. You wear our merch like better than we wear it. I mean, those. I don't know how. I don't know if our merch team is allowed to use them, but like those photos of you wearing that blade collar.
I'm a huge blade collar.
Man.
Huge blade collar guy. They
That's all
fit nice.
Dude, so many blade collars.
I told Riggs, I was like,
we're coming out with more, I think.
Yeah, we need way more colors because I can't keep wearing the blue and the black like every single week. I need a couple different colors to mix in there.
Bro, Allison and Pilar they have to love when the photos of you come out because it looks so good. The hat, the shirt, it actually looks like golf merchandise. You know what I mean?
It is. It's great stuff.
Yeah, but I'm a bag of milk. Like all this stuff means nothing. They keep posting this one picture of me where I fall through and it's just a belly button. And I'm like, what? There's gotta be a better shot.
Dude,
there's gotta be one better shot.
That's one
There's
out of
no
three
picture
of you guys that we could find.
There's no pictures of me in the blade collar because I can't get the sizing right. I'm like bigger than they anticipate. So I look horrible in the blade collar, but Alistair looks unbelievable.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to all the different colors coming out, and we're gonna rock them all year.
Love it.
It is amazing that you're wearing our merchandise that we make and that we come up with, and then our team whips up, and you're just wearing it like at the highest level. It's kind of incredible.
It's also every day.
Awesome.
I don't know if you've noticed, but like every single day, that's what I wear. That's my entire closet.
I had to tell Alistair that when he's not playing professional golf, he's allowed to wear whatever he wants. I had to like tell him that. He shows up, we get like breakfast, and he's got Barstool Golf head to toe. I'm like, all right, you can,
I love it.
Why wouldn't I wear it? It's comfortable.
I get it.
Makes me look pretty good.
I don't want to. I know that we all wanted to make a PGA Tour. I know you wanted to make it, but I think that this is all part of the story. I think this is going to be a huge year for you. I think the year you had last year and like Myrtle Beach and then coming close and like coming down the stretch, I think you've gained a lot of traction. I think our fans are starting to really get around this thing now. I think 2025 is a huge year. You get in the mix with us a little bit. You're going to be playing lights out this year. You're getting your PGA Tour card. I think this is all for the better. I think this momentum is like flinging us into the future of Alistair Docherty professional golf.
Everyone has a story. Mine's just getting started.
There we go.
Oh my God.
I love it. Fucking right, dude.
Bang.
Happy fucking New Year.
Oh, there you go,
everybody.
Crazy. God damn.
2025.
Hey, so
wow.
When it comes to the videos that we want to do, what about, how Bryson does the breaking 50?
Mm-hmm.
What if we tried to do that as a 4-man scramble? Is that possible?
Love it. I mean, yeah, I would love it.
Or like something similar, or we play the back tees. He does it from the front tees, but we play the back tees and try and break 60 at Greyhawk or something.
I would love that.
That'd be sick.
I would absolutely love that.
Yeah, 100%. We got to do that. We also there's so many things we can do.
Ace cam on every single par 3.
Yep.
Yes, that I need. I need it.
Really,
everywhere.
That's the reason we want to get you involved. Is like we need a hole-in-one. The boys need a hole. Our New Year's resolution in 2025 needs to be a hole-in-one, and I think we also have to sort of. And this is gonna be hardest for me. If we make a hole-in-one, I think it'd be all time if we just like shook hands and we didn't do the run.
What?
You just fucking you just were like, we did it.
That's never gonna happen.
It. It's never gonna happen. I'd love to do it. I would love to. I would love to.
I feel like that's a Kisner move.
Kind of shake.
feel like that's a Kisner move.
Bro, I
He'd be
think
like,
that
"Yeah, I
ball
have my
goes in
name
the
on
hole.
flag,"
I
and you
think
just turn
Brendan
and shake
loses his
hands.
mind and we
Right,
look at
right.
each other and we do like a group hug. Like it happened. You know what I mean? The hole in one.
I'm taking my clothes off. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, you're acting right. Like, like some hostages just got released and we're like happy and relieved about it. Like that's,
Yeah.
I think we need to be a little, we should
No,
be
I
excited.
think there's something
we gotta
funny about like we've been there before and we've never even
We
come
haven't,
close.
though.
I know. We'll workshop it because we're gonna get one this year.
I think so. I hope so. We've been doing this for a while. We haven't got one.
Not even close,
a
really.
We're
while.
due.
That would be a lot of
super
Probably about the
cocktails
longest.
drank.
We're due.
Ooh.
We're very due.
Ooh.
All right.
All right, everyone.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, Alistair. Happy New Year to everybody that's listening out there. It's our last show of the year. Be safe. Be smart. We're not going to be back till January 7th, I think, is our next podcast release. So, yeah, 1
Something
week
like
from
that.
today, January 7th, and then we'll just be off and running. We got a bunch of tailor-made videos. Guy named Tiger Woods, Scottie Scheffler, Nelly Korda, Tommy Fleetwood, all kinds of people that we're filming with. So, or that we did film with, and everything's going to be coming and rolling out. So, big thanks to Cody.
We also got
Frankie
Jersey
joining the
Jerry
show.
100, Breaking 100 coming out.
Mm.
I think that's coming out like right
Yep.
in the new year.
Oh, and
Maybe,
he's
like,
going to
January.
be TGL hole in one.
Yes.
That's right.
Jerry
On the
After
2nd.
Dark is going to the TGL to try and make a hole in one at the TGL. It's going to be electric.
Awesome.
January
Yeah.
2nd.
Oh, my God.
I can't wait.
All right.
Yep.
Happy New Year. Thanks for listening. We'll be back in 2025. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit hard.
Hit it hard.